Welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to be making a video regarding the settings for the camera. More accurately, it's just this time I'm going to be concentrating on the video aspect rather than the photography side. It's a very complicated subject, and this is just my personal opinion on what settings I have. I've just been asked by people they would like to see straight out of the box what you would have your settings on just for perfect capture. The settings are endless if you want to get into it. I'm no expert, so these are just, as I say, my personal preferences, and they are aimed at total beginners. So I will get the drone in the air, so 2 levers down, spinning. We've got a geo zone nearby, which means it's a no-fly zone, but we're right on the edge of that. We're not actually in it, so I will OK that one. So, as you can see now, down at the bottom right-hand corner, this is the most important thing. It's EV, which means exposure value. If you just click on that, you can see I've set it on 0 there, just to give you an idea. If you was to go plus, the picture becomes very washed out there. If you just go minus, it goes darker. So basically that's your light and dark settings. So if I put it on 0, now what I'm going to do, I'm going to go into the settings and just explain a little bit about how to capture your perfect video. So go into the 3 dots at the top, go onto your camera tab. Now you've got normal, HLG and D-Log. Now I tend to always keep it in normal. Now normal is fine. It's a 4K camera on this drone, as it is the Mini 2 Pro, the Mini 3 Pro, the 4K, the Mini 4 Pro, which this is the Mini 4 Pro. And then you've got HLG and D-Log on this particular drone, which is 10-bit color, which is, you know, very far superior. But when you film it on that, it will look washed out, and you can't just use that as it comes out the camera. You have to go into a video editing software and add things called LUTs. So that's just to adjust the color, the brightness, the contrast, etc. So for the most part, I usually use the normal shooting mode. And so if I go down, I'm going to put on the grid lines there, that one in the middle. That is just when you are videoing something, you can see exactly where the middle of your screen is if you want to get a subject centered. Now if I go down to, what else have we got? It might be up actually. So while the histogram, I'm going to put that one on. I'll explain that in a minute. And I'm also going to use, let me have a look, where is it? Exposure warning. I'm going to put that one on. So the exposure warning, if you go down into that EV again at the bottom and you scroll across, you can see that them black and white stripes coming across the screen. So that's telling you it's overexposed. So that's your overexposure warning. So that's good. You know that you've got too much. So if you scroll the other way until they disappear, you know that's going to be pretty much where it should be, your EV level. That's how much light is coming into the sensor. And at the top left of the screen, that histogram that I put in, now that is just a graph, and you should be aiming to get the big pointy bits in the middle, so that tells you that that's about right. If I scroll on that thing again at the bottom, you'll see that it's moving over there now to the left. And if you scroll over there, it's moving over to the right. So that's also another indication as to where you should be. So it's nearly always with this drone, it's about +1 is right. So I'm going to leave it on +1. But the little scroll wheel on your right, if you spin that, you can see the yellow writing towards the record button there. And you can go right up to 3 times zoom with that. Now, when you're in the 48 megapixel, I'm not sure if it's 2 times zoom, so you don't get quite as much zoom on that one. So that's also something to bear in mind. So where we're pointed now as well, and we're on -1 on that EV scale, The picture is pretty much perfect there, but if I spin it round, say 180 degrees, and I'm going to be pointing, and the sensor and the drone is facing the sun now, and you can see the screen has gone very dark. So at this point, you decrease the thing. So from -1, you go into plus values. You can see the screen is now brightening up. So it's up to you how far you go up there. And you've got to bear this in mind if you're flying the drone and you're maybe doing an orbit. As the drone comes round and it's facing towards the sun, it will automatically darken. And this is the problem with the mini drones. They don't have this feature where it will do the autofocus or the auto exposure for you. So just bring it back round again, and I will just show you also on that. That's an easy one for me, where you go onto that EV mode. You can come out of that EV mode. You can also press anywhere on the screen, hold your finger down on the screen or tap the screen, and then you can move it up and down, and that will also do your EV. And if you so wanted, you could also go into the 3 dots and do it from there as well. Also, what I would like to talk about, at the bottom of the screen there is Res and FPS. So this is your resolution and your frames per second. So if you click on it, the top row is 1080 or 4K. So it's a 4K camera, so I don't see any reason to have it on 10K unless you're limited by file size for TikTok or some social media that won't allow you to put such a large file. And then on the bottom, if you scroll across, you've got 24, which is what a lot of filmmakers, cinematographers, they prefer that because it gives you that Hollywood effect, that sort of dreamy look about it. Personally, I like it a little bit sharper, and I go up to 30 frames per second, which I think is ideal in most situations, and it also keeps the file size down a little bit. The advantages of going to 60, which is another very popular choice, is that you can slow the video down then and you won't lose any quality. When you're going into some of the advanced features of the drone, like slow motion, that will film at 120 frames per second. But yeah, I like to keep it at 4K 30. It seems to do me in every situation. If you press the right hand button by the antenna and put it into photograph mode, go into your 3 dots, slightly different there. I'm just going to cover this. I'm not going to go in great detail. If you've got any questions at all, as ever, just drop them in the comments and I'll try to answer as best as I can. For any experts out there, I'm not professing to be an expert myself. I'm just trying to help people. People have asked me on your channel, can you feature camera settings for beginners? And most of my videos, I do use normal settings and 16 megapixel or 12 megapixel. And also I use about -1 on the EV, unless it's a very bright day. So in the camera with this one, we're now on camera mode. You've also got JPEG, RAW, JPEG and RAW. So the JPEG is just your standard photograph. Your RAW is a real high quality one. But like with the videos, if you go to the D-Log-M or if you go with the RAW with the pictures, it's a big file size. So it's when you're editing it as well, it could cause some lag in your video editing software. So I've got it set to JPEG and RAW because I do like now and then to dabble with a little bit of the settings and post some better quality ones on. Aspect ratio speaks for itself, and there is the 12 megapixel and 48 megapixel. It's on 48 there, so it doesn't matter really. Some people again will probably argue, oh yes it does, but it's negligible unless you're going to be printing out great big photographs, and most of the screens that you're going to be viewing on won't be 4K or up to that 48 megapixel quality. So the histogram, that's come over from the video mode, and so have the grid lines, so that's on for both of them when you do that. And that's about it for now. I'm going to wrap it up there. Any questions, as I say, let me know in the comments. Thanks once again for supporting my channel and watching it. The likes, the subscribes, really appreciated. And anything you would like me to cover, it's always a pleasure. Thank you very much.